Hello, people of Earth. This is the homie Pedro. Talk to you about parental alienation. This is my experience with it. First off, man, you are not alone in this. A lot of guys are going through this. It sucks. All right. So my personal experience with it, I have a 13-year-old son that I have seen 5 times since he was 2. I raised him since he was born till 2 years old. His mother and I did not get along. He was born in Salt Lake City, Utah, and when we separated, she took him to the Navajo Nation. So that's the reservation in New Mexico, to be more specific. And I did not know that after someone's on the reservation for 6 months, you lose all parental rights. So in my case, I couldn't even take her to court. It would be tribal court. And yeah, it's rough. But anyways, throughout the years, she wanted me to mail her money, and I just said no, I'm not mailing you money. I would send money orders, and she would send them back. So then I would, $100 money order, you send it, someone sends it, but and then you try to get the money back with the receipt, and so it'd be like $93 you get back. But yeah, so I did that throughout the years, and then come to find out, she moved back up to Utah after she got married to somebody that didn't work. Had a kid with that individual, got him for child support and alimony and harassment. Um, yeah, I can't speak on his behalf. He's actually the guy that she cheated on me with. She ended up marrying him, and that didn't work out. So it is what it is. And that was all on the reservation. He was native as well, or is native, and so yeah, different laws. Found out she came back up here, so it was around Christmas time, and she's like, I hit her up. I was like, hey, I want to see him for Christmas. And at this time my son's 13. Last time I'd seen him previous to that was when he was 8. And it was rough because I could tell he didn't like me. He already had this preconceived notion that I just did not want anything to do with them. And gotta tell you guys, and anybody who goes through this knows how painful it is to want to see your kids. Then you're around other dudes who are glad they're not seeing their kids, and it's like the biggest insult. Um, yeah, so I mean, for me personally, to deal with the pain, I was drinking. A lot of guys that I know have unalived themselves or addicted to substances because they're going through the same thing. The courts aren't helping them out, or if they're lucky, they spend like 15 grand and end up with 50-50 custody if they're lucky. I only know one guy who's got full custody, and that's because his wife, now ex-wife, just walked out, left him with the 3 kids. So that's the only guy that I know that has custody. So it's an epidemic too, because parental alienation, more kids are going to be addicted to drugs, join gangs, all this stuff because they don't have a dad. Me, I had my dad in my life. I was more afraid of my dad than the cops, and my dad's belt got me to graduate. I was the only one that, out of 5 kids, I was the only one that went with my dad. And there was more structure because I got kicked out of school. Long story, tell it on a different one. So, anyways, I get to see my son when he's 13. Um, I spent about $1,000 on him for Christmas, which was cool. It felt good. Um, and his mom was riding in the passenger seat, his his sister, or um her little sister, one of the only people from that family that I get along with. Um, and she's kind of being the voice of reason. And the mom is trying to argue with me, and I didn't even bite. Like, she was saying all these bad things about me, didn't even bite. Then so we go take my son to go clothes shopping. I actually bought him stylish clothes, you know what I mean? And I'm 6'4". My son's 13, he's 6'4" as well. So that's kind of a mind blower. But trying to get him into boxing or basketball or whatever, some kind of team sport. Um, he likes to play the flute. That is what it is. I don't know. I don't play the flute. Um, but yeah. Anyways, she's yelling at me and tries to grab the wheel. And we're in a very dense urban area. We would have crashed, hurt, harmed, like just people crashing and possibly, definitely mess somebody's day up. Some random people. My bad. This is a tough subject for me to cover. Brings back a lot of memories. So, anyways, take him shoe shopping, clothes shopping, got him some video games, all that stuff. Everything goes well. He's like, "I love you, Dad," and he hugs me, and I hug him because I was starting to tell him little things about me, and I made sure not to bad talk her at all. And I could see like the switches starting to switch in his head, like, maybe this guy's not that bad, and I was just letting her do all the bashing and stuff like that. And then I was just constantly cracking jokes with my son. And I'm a big believer in co-parenting. Like, anyways, so the next day comes, and she's she's like, "Hey, I had this lease at this one place, and her and her little sister weren't getting along, and the little sister just left, and at least that was according to her. And then so she said she needed $600 to help with the deposit. So I gave her $600 to help with the deposit. She said she wanted me to be on her lease for the next apartment that she was going on, a year lease after just breaking a lease. And I said, no, I can't do that. But I got $600 for the deposit. So this way, at least I can know where they're at. So I paid $600 for the deposit. Now I'm moving furniture, and I'm seeing the way that she's living. And it's just, there were so many beer cans, so much alcohol, stuff like that. Stuff that I quit. Um, at least I quit binge drinking. I'm not gonna say I quit drinking, because if I do start, then that's, I don't even count days of sobriety. I just don't. It's because for me that's rabbit hole. It's all bad. So, anyways, so I paid the deposit. I move her in there. My son's helping, and then I find out he has a flute recital that day. I don't know which school he goes to. She's like, yeah, just come back. So my dad lives in a similar area, so I go to my dad's to kill time because I don't want to talk to her mom or anything like that. Mom's a Jezebel devil type, and so yeah, so I killed time with my dad's, and then I go over to the food recital. Well, on my way going there, I go there to back to her apartment. She wants to get back together. I tell her no, I'm engaged, and I believe in like not cheating. It's something I absolutely believe in, like not doing. Then she's like, well, can you buy me new furniture? I was like, well, there's the thrift store. You get furniture from there. But she's like, no, I want brand new furniture. And I'm like, I'm not doing brand new furniture. And I'm like, we should get to his recital. What school is he at? First, she tells me a different school. Then finally, she's like, oh no, it's this school. We end up showing up late. Um, these things are key for any kid growing up. They want to make sure you are present. And I know from what she's been doing is like trying to abstract me, for, like trying to not have me present in very important parts of his life, because that doesn't fit the narrative that she had instilled in him this whole time. So I waited till after the recital, and I went and I hugged him. I was like, "Hey man, it's a good job. I saw everything, all that stuff. I got on video. You did good, you know." And so, and after that, supposed to hang out with him 2 weeks after that, which I did. I hung out with him 2 weeks after that. Went to get him his haircut, stuff like that. Shoot, I need a haircut. My stuff's all messed up. But anyways, took him to get his haircut, and yeah, took him to get his haircut, and then got him some getting ready for school stuff, or not ready for school. So it was like warmer clothes that he needed, and just more swagger, you know what I mean? So did that, and then it's gonna hang out with him 2 weeks after that. She moved back to the reservation 2 weeks after that. Didn't tell me, didn't say anything, broke her lease, went back to the reservation. So now I hear that she's back in Utah from one of my friends, and contacted her, and I may not be able to see my son this Saturday, which is crazy because I have two sons from two different women, right? My younger son is 11. I'm in his life every weekend. Every weekend, I talk to him. I talk to him some days after school. He'll call me and just be like, "Dad," and just all that stuff. He's in mixed martial arts. He's in quantum math. He's already taken college math courses. Man, I got him a Halloween costume last weekend. All this stuff. He gets to experience all this cool stuff. And while I'm doing that, in the back of my head, I feel like I'm emotionally cheating on my older son. And my younger son knows the pain that I'm going through, kind of, but I'm glad that at least he gets to see it, and I'm more open about it than my dad was when he was going through it. Because I didn't even know what was going on with my dad. I was believing stuff because I was alienated from my dad. These things are like, these are generational a lot of times, and it's white, black, Hispanic. It's just, it's the system, unfortunately, a lot of these courts, it's more profitable if the family is not getting along. So I had to explain to my younger son's mom, because there was a while there I wasn't seeing him at all, and it was basically, it was out of spite. It was that she wouldn't let me see him. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. But now we're better because we co-parent. It's strictly, what does he need? It's not like, "Hey babe, I miss you." No, hell no. I'm pretty sure she feels mutual on that. There's no flirting, none of that. So if you're trying to co-parent, don't get the courts involved. Try to figure out some other way. Like, I got my sons all back to school stuff earlier. Now we're getting them a cell phone that's not a smartphone, just text, call, that type of deal. Yeah, like I said, I got them into MMA. Been teaching them basketball since I've played basketball for 31 years. So, yeah, things are going good with him. So it's just weird because, men, if you can work that out, work it out in some kind of way to where, the courts aren't involved. So what I explained to her, look, I got a bunch of false domestics, and she admitted to it. She's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Bo. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I already went to jail and did all that stuff, and man, I had been arrested 6 times because of her. She would call it. Not all of them were her. Some of them were. We lived in an apartment building. She would scream so loud that neighbors would call the cops. And since I had the initial one I punched my own TV. That's what I did. I punched my own TV. So I had that initial one. Neighbors would call the cops. This is a revolving door of just any guy that gets caught in domestic violence will tell you the same thing, man. All these stupid domestic violence classes. God forbid you're drinking or there's any kind of like substance involved, because then you're gonna have to do about a year of substance abuse classes, and that pretty much is all to feed the system that wants to destroy your family. So I told her, I was like, look, well, if we go to court, I'm gonna try to get 50-50. You're gonna try to get 50-50, or you're gonna try to get full, whatever. I get it, but co-parenting is way better. And I explained to her why, and I told her all these horror stories of when the court will all of a sudden be like, you know what, she's not fit either, and he's got all these domestics, so we'll just take him. The state will take him. And that happens a lot. This is why I emphasize co-parenting to people as much as possible. And when you do, when you have your son or your daughter around you, man, woman, both of you, do not bad talk the other parent. I grew up in a divorced household. When I was with my dad would talk bad about my mom. When I was around my mom would talk bad about my dad. So then I came to the conclusion growing up that my parents hated each other more than they loved me. And that's not something that you want to do. So, that being said, sorry, coworkers walking by, got a little passionate there. With that being said, you know, calmer heads prevail. So, yeah, you may feel a certain way. Of course, you feel a certain way about that person. You know, he did you wrong or she did you wrong, but that's not something for you to air out in front of your kids. You know, so that's my story, parental alienation, and that's the way out of it is through co-parenting. If the other person is able to do it. As for my older son, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to explain it to him when he's ready. Probably after 18. So, got 5 more years. Anyways, it's the homie Pedro. One love. Peace out. Stay safe.